It's the return of the GWOAT, the self-styled GWOAT, Claressa Shields. She's widely recognised as the pound-for-pound the best women's fighter. I think, especially after Katie Taylor losing a couple of weeks ago, I think that's pretty much undisputed now.
Who are you saying? You're squeaking like a Scouser. Who are you saying?
Squeaking like a Scouser. I don't know. There's question marks in there. You know, I think Ebony Bridges is on her way to.
For God's sake, Laurie, carry on with the
serious
show.
question marks.
I know what you think, Ebony Bridges.
I think she's a good fighter.
Pound for pound, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about qualities in the ring.
That's what I'm talking about. What are you talking about?
You're talking about pound cake, blood.
What are you talking about? Don't put words in my mouth.
Anyway, I digress. You know, you're going to get us in trouble, you are. Right, so this weekend, Claressa Shields, she's defending her undisputed middleweight championships in Detroit against a lady called Marcelo Cornejo or Conejo. Cornejo. Sorry, my Spanish isn't good.
Conejo. Yeah.
Conejo. She was to have fought Hannah Gabriels, but Hannah Gabriels failed a drug test. Apparently, she applied some dog medication to her dog's stomach and ended up failing a drug test. Quite how that works, I don't know. But listen, man, I'm no expert.
Maybe had a couple of handshakes with the wrong people, you know. Wrong doctor's handshake.
Dropping the ocean and all that, yeah.
Claressa Shields, I think we should point out, she's the only fighter in history, male or female, to hold all 4 major world titles in 2 different weight classes, light middleweight and middleweight. And she's defending her middleweight titles this weekend. A little bit about Claressa Shields, 28 years old, nicknamed T-Rex. She's from Flint, Michigan, 5'8", 68-inch reach, orthodox stance, professional record, unblemished one, 13 fights, 13 wins, 2 KOs. She's fighting this lady, Marcela Conejo, nicknamed La Diva, 36. She's from LA, I believe. Mm-hmm. She's got a bit of a height and reach advantage on Claressa. She's 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. She's also orthodox. Her professional record, 21 fights, 16 wins, 6 KOs, 5 losses, including 2 to Franchon Cruz de Zern, who you may have, heard us talking about on previous shows. Who Claressa Shields actually beat in her first fight, Franchon Cruz de Zern. Right, where do I start? I took the trouble to look up a couple of Conejo's fights on YouTube. And
I take that you weren't very impressed.
I wasn't.
Well, to be honest, she is coming off the back of 3 wins after obviously losing 2 back-to-back fights to de Zern and Ibarra. But if you look at the records of the people she's beaten, it is not convincing. Her first win of this trilogy of wins comes against Miranda Barber, who was 2 wins, 2 losses, so not that convincing. Then she went on and won a unanimous decision fight against Simone Aparecida da Silva, who had 17 wins and 19 losses.
Wow.
And then went and beat Mateus Cunha's long-lost sister, Sheila Cunha, who has 0 wins and 1 loss. So not exactly the greatest resume.
I think I should also point out as well that she's fought for the world title 3 times before and has been unsuccessful in all 3 attempts. And as I was saying, I've watched her fight. I think it was 2 or 3 fights I've sat down and watched. Not the greatest. Actually, you know what? I'll give her some credit. She's tough. She's rangy. She has a decent jab, and she likes to throw the 1-2. And her footwork is not bad. But I've got to say straight away, man, the thing that struck me straight away is that there's a massive disparity in her skill set and Claressa Shields. So I'm going to say straight away, without any equivocation, Claressa Shields will wash this girl, probably win all 10 rounds at a canter. And if she doesn't, I'll be surprised. That's what I'm saying. Over to the voice of reason, Mr. Nick Francis.
We don't see many knockouts in female boxing, and I did think that Chantel Cameron might stop Katie Taylor, but we could be looking at a knockout here because Claressa Shields is just going to basically beat this woman up for 10 rounds. It's going to be fairly uncompetitive. I can't imagine what the odds are going to be, 1 to 100. She's going to be a heavy favourite. And like I said before,
especially if she's taking the fight at short notice as well.
2 losses to somebody that Claressa Shields has already beat. It's going to give her. She doesn't need any confidence, Claressa Shields, but that will give her even more confidence on top of the confidence she's already got. And if she does lose, then it will be upset of the year by far.
Oh, it would be
by far.
Oh, massive.
And we'll look like fools, but that's fine.
And not only that, as well as Claressa's defending in her hometown. And, she's always big enough. It's Detroit, which is just down the road.
Okay, cool,
Michigan.
So listen, man. I mean, she's going to be pretty motivated. It's like a homecoming fight for her. She talks the talk. She's going to want to walk the walk. She had that very, hard fight. Let's be honest. Savannah Marshall gave her a hard fight.
I got to disagree with you on that one.
I was there,
disagree
mate.
with you. I would not call that a hard fight. Now, look, whether I think she's going to win by knockout, she hasn't had a knockout win since Nikki Adler in 2017, but that Savannah Marshall fight that you showed me gives me all the information to tell me that she is going to batter Cornejo. Cornejo has the reach, as did Savannah Marshall, but the way Claressa Shields was able to get inside, rough her up, fight her fight, and just absolutely piece her up, set traps for her, that was a very, very, very convincing win. I thought Savannah Marshall was going to cause her a lot more problems than she did.
Savannah Marshall is widely recognised as the hardest punching woman fighter out there, and I think that's...
Exactly. And she, against Claressa Shields, looked completely out of her element. Claressa Shields did not look scared once.
Not scared, but she buzzed her a couple of times.
Nah, man.
No, Claressa's actually said that she felt Savannah Marshall's power in it. But I think it's fair to say that, is it Cornejo or Cornejo?
Cornejo
does not have anywhere near that level of power, nor skills. And I think it's going to be a routine win. I think, as Nick was saying, I think what you're going to see is Claressa.
I think she's going to get eaten up like a Cornejo. That's for sure. Or Cornetto. Shit.
So you take it out. How's this fight?
Unanimous decision is what it is. It's going to be an absolute clean-up job. She's going to be mopping her up like hair on a barber shop, straight into the brush and straight into the bin, unfortunately. Look, fair play. I don't want to disrespect anyone, especially Cornejo, but she's just not on the level of Claressa
And
Shields.
what do you say to the GWOAT claims? Do you think they're legitimate? Especially with Katie Taylor now.
I think there's a few Serranos in the conversation. Katie Taylor's in the conversation.
Still?
It's for her career, for the history of her career. I would potentially edge it to Claressa Shields. I also find Claressa Shields a lot more entertaining as well outside of the ring. I like her trash talk. I like the way she builds a fight. For me, that goes into it. I know you may argue it's completely ring work.
No, there's an element of that.
Everything she brings into it. So I think arguably what she's done for the sport, I think she's probably done more for the sport of female boxing globally than anyone else. So I think I'd probably put her right there right now.
Nick, are the GWOAT claims legitimate?
Yeah, I mean, there's no disputed wins on Claressa's record. On Katie Taylor's record, 2 of her wins are heavily disputed. One of them is an outright robbery. So her record remained unblemished for longer than it actually should have, in my opinion. So there's big
People are going to call you a hater now.
Don't care. Big asterisks over that first Bassoon fight. She 100% lost that. 100%.
One of the biggest robberies.
Yeah, one of the biggest robberies. That's Jack Catterall level of robbery. So yeah.
No. This was worse than Jack Catterall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like an outright clear robbery. But yeah, that's all I got on that.
The only thing I would say about the GWOAT, I mean, we talked about Katie Taylor. Some people out there who are a bit older than you guys may remember Layla Ali. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
And she was also unbeaten, I believe. Very well touted and talked about female boxer. Anne Wolf.
Good genetics
definitely
as well.
Before you guys' time. But Anne Wolf was a real monster. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
So there have been a few women's fighters down the years who, can lay claim
Was that
to being great.
it wasn't, was it daughter of Ali or was it?
Layla Ali is a daughter of Ali.
Daughter, yeah. Descendant daughter.
Yeah, and she amassed a very good record. In fact, there was talk a little while that she may come back and fight Claressa Shields because they had a bit of social media beef, but she would have been too old, to be honest.
Yeah.
But for me, it's definitely Claressa Shields. I'm not going to go into why. I've said it many times before, but that's how I think.